'Cause if you won't listen,
अब नहीं होगा।
might just have to go. I want to leave this all behind. Close this door for peace of mind. And you don't wanna talk this out. And I don't wanna lose me, so I need to choose me.
Hey guys, it's me again and I'm back with yet another video. Now some of you might just recognize the transition that just happened and some of you won't. But if you're still watching this video, I really appreciate your support. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Now moving on to the video, the transition that just happened was from a streamer called Tenz, who is also world's #1 Valorant player. Now I thought the transition looked really cool and I wanted to make it. Then I thought I should make a breakdown of this transition and I should give a step-by-step tutorial to you people how to make it. Maybe you could grab some of the tricks, some of the techniques from this video and use it in your projects. So why wait? Let's move into the video.
Choose me.
Okay, so now that you've opened After Effects, the first thing that you need to do is create a new composition. So we'll click on this button right here and it will open this window. Let's call it whatever you want to. I'll call it tutorial because I'm making this for this tutorial. And now you have to select your resolution and your frame rate. Now if you're making this element or transition for your gaming stream or gaming videos, the resolution must be 1080p and the frame rate must be 60 fps because that are the settings that you stream in, or that is the resolution that you post your gaming videos on YouTube. But because I'm making this video only for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to choose 720p and 24 frames per second so that my PC does not take a lot of load and this all runs very smoothly with OBS running in the background. So after you've set your settings, click on OK and you will get your empty composition. So I went ahead and I imported Tenz's original clip in which he used the transition and it looks like this. But the first thing that we notice is a red solid expanding from the center towards the sides in horizontal direction, and inside it is a magenta solid with another pattern inside of it. It also expands. Okay, so we're gonna make all of this from scratch. So let's just disable this layer. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is right click and create a new solid, make it black. And I'm only making this black solid so that any element that I create and put over it, I can see it clearly, because if the background is transparent, I won't be able to see it very easily. So again, I'll right click, create a new solid and make it red. I click on OK, OK, and here it is. Now I'm gonna go ahead and right click on the red solid and pre-compose it and move all attributes to the new layer. I'll call it beginning. Okay, so we have to make a red solid expand from the center towards the side, which is easy because we can just increase its scale value from 0 to 100. But we do not want it to scale in the vertical direction, only in the horizontal direction. So to do that, what I'll do is click on the red solid, press S. Now what this is going to do is give me the X and the Y value of the scale property. I'm going to reduce the X value to 0 at the beginning of the composition at 0 frames. And I'm going to click on the stopwatch button to create a keyframe at 0 frames. I'm going to move ahead a couple of frames and I'm going to increase the X value to 100. Now you see these two keyframes right here. Select both of them, right click, go to keyframe assistant, select easy ease in. Okay, this makes the animation a little more smoother. You can see when the red solid almost covers half of the screen, it starts to blur out in the edges over here. So I'm going to go ahead into the beginning comp and select the red solid, go into effects, go into blur and sharpen and select fast box blur. Now I only want the blur to happen in the horizontal direction, so I'm going to go ahead and select blur dimensions and set it to horizontal. Okay, now I'm going to find where the red solid actually covers half of my frame. So it's this point. Now I'm going to move back one frame and I'm going to set a keyframe for blur radius at 0 value. Now I'm going to move ahead to the desired frame and I'm going to change the blur radius to a desired amount, which is, I think this is okay. I can change it in future if I want to. Now the next thing that we need in the original transition is this pattern with red cubes in a grid. To do that, I'm going to go back to the beginning comp. I'm going to right click, new shape layer. I'm going to click on this drop down menu. I'm going to click on add a rectangle and it will give me a cube. I'm going to go drop down the rectangle path and reduce the size by a little bit. Okay, that's good, I think. Now the cube also needs to be red in color. So I'm going to click on add again and click on fill. And I want the color of the fill to be a little darker red. I think that's okay. I click on OK. Now we could just duplicate the shape layer again and again and again and create a big grid out of it, but that's really not the way to do it. So I'm going to select the shape layer, click on add, and I'm going to go to repeater. Now you can see the repeater has already given me 3 copies. So I'm going to change the number of copies to around 30, and then I'm going to change the offset so that I also have cubes towards the left and towards the right of my composition, because if in future I decide to scale down this comp, I should have a room to play with. Now we have just created copies of the cubes, but only in the horizontal direction. So I'm going to go ahead, click on add again and select another repeater. Okay, so the repeater 2 has worked and it has created more copies, but I don't want the copies in horizontal direction again. I want the copies in the vertical direction. So I'm going to drop down the transform repeater 2 values, and I'm going to click on the position X value. I'm going to change it to 0, and I'm going to change the position Y value to 125, which is equal to the position X value of the repeater 1. I'm going to increase the number of copies to 30 again. I'm going to change the offset so that we have some room to play with. And there we have it. The pattern is ready. I'll just select the whole layer, click on rotation. I'll change the rotation by 45 degrees. And I think I'll need to reduce the size by a little bit. And that's perfect. Okay, so the pattern is now ready, but I need the pattern to only be where the red solid is, and I need it to fade away where the red solid starts to blur out. So what I'm going to do is duplicate the red solid. I'm going to select the red solid, press Ctrl D. I'll duplicate it. I'll rename the second solid and I'll call it matte. I'll select the matte layer. I'll go into effect. I'll click on generate and I'll select fill. Now I'll change the color red to white and click on OK. I'll put the shape layer below the matte layer and click on this track matte button and select Luma matte. If you don't see this track matte layer, then click on this button right here and you'll see it. Okay, so now you can see the pattern is starting to fade away where the red solid fades away too. And I think that's it for the beginning of a transition. The second thing that we need is the magenta solid inside of the red solid. Okay, so the next thing that we see in the original transition is the size of the magenta solid and red solid increases and the camera passes through it. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to select the beginning layer. I'm going to press S. I'm going to move to the frame where I need it to start increasing in size. And I'm going to create a keyframe at 100% scale value. I'm going to move ahead a couple frames. I'm going to increase the scale by a lot. But the animation is a little janky, so I'm going to select the two keyframes. I'm going to right click, go to keyframe assistant and select easy ease in. But as we saw in the original composition, these magenta solids also change distance between them. So I'm going to go into the magenta comp and I'm going to select both of them and press P. Create a keyframe in the beginning of the comp, and I'm going to move ahead a couple frames and change the position equally in different directions. And I'm going to select these keyframes, right click and select easy ease out. Go back to the original composition. When we preview the original animation again, we see the center of the magenta solid is transparent. We see the second layer from between it. So to do that, I'm going to go back to the beginning layer and I'm going to select all of them and click on pre-compose and move all attributes. I'm going to click on OK. So what I'm going to do is create a mask between the magenta solid. For that, I'm going to select the rectangle tool and I'm going to create a mask between the magenta solid. And I'm going to go to mask properties and select subtract instead of add, and drop down the mask value and select feather, and I'm going to increase it by a lot. I'm going to reduce the expansion a little bit and increase the feather a little bit more. So now I can successfully see through the magenta solid, and I think it will work in the final composition. But the magenta solid also increases the space between them. So we have to keyframe its path. So I'm going to select mask path and I'm going to click on the stopwatch. I'm going to move forward a couple frames and I'm going to increase the size of the solid. Okay, so let's preview the final animation once again. I think that looks okay, but I still need to tweak some settings. Okay, so this is how my final animation looks like. And I think it's better from what we started. So next thing that we need to do is make the 3D part of this transition, which are the 3D kunais and the camera movement part. So to do that, first thing I'm going to do is right click, go to new, solid, any color, doesn't matter. Go into Video Copilot and select the element effect. So the Element 3D plugin is available on videocopilot.net, and this effect is really good if you want to do some 3D work inside of After Effects and do not want to move to other 3D softwares. But it does not have all that flexibility of other 3D softwares like Cinema 4D or Blender, but it does the basic job and it's good, I'll say. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is select the solid, press enter and rename it to kunais because that's what we're going to do with this layer. Select the solid, go to the element effect and select scene setup. Now you'll see your 3D environment, some windows and nothing on the screen, because now you have to import your 3D element into the scene. So click on import and it will crash. No, it won't. And select your 3D model. Click on OK. Okay, so this is a 3D model of a kunai that I found on TurboSquid or some website like that. You can find the kunai that looks better or something that you want, but this is the only one that I could find, so I'm going to use this one. But it looks a little weird, it is white, but that's because we haven't added a material over it. So okay, so to add your material, select your 3D model, go into presets and select any material that you have. I'm going to go into metal and drag and drop this metal material over it. So now that that's done, we need two more kunais. So I'm going to click on the kunai, press Ctrl D, press Ctrl D once again. Okay, now we have our 3 kunais on our screen, but you can see that all 3 of them are in the same group, which is group 1. And the problem with having all 3 of them in the same group is that if we change the position value of one kunai, the position value of other 2 will change automatically. But we don't want that. We want to control all 3 of them separately. So I'm going to drag all of them out of the group, and I'm going to set the second kunai to group 2. I'm going to set the third kunai to group 3. Now that all 3 of the kunais are in 3 different groups, we can set their position, scale and rotation separately. Now just click on OK. Okay, now you have a 3D model in your scene. The next thing that you need to do is right click, create new camera and set the focal length to 50 millimeters right here and click on OK. Go to the element effect and go into group 2 and disable the group 2, go into group 3 and disable the group 3 so that we can work with one kunai first and then we'll move on to the second and third kunai. Go into the kunai layer, drop down to the effects, go into elements, go to group 1 and go into the particle replicator option and you'll see the position X, Y and position Z value. Now what I'll do is increase the Z value so the kunai moves away from the camera. I think that's okay. I'm going to go into rotation and I'm going to set the rotation X axis to 90 degrees so that the kunai is now facing upward. I'm going to move it further behind in the Z space. I think that's it. Okay, in the animation we see that the kunai comes from behind the camera and then crosses the screen to appear in front of it. And the final position of the kunai is this. Okay, the final position of the kunai should be this when the beginning of the transition is over. So I'm going to set a keyframe at position Z at this point of time and I'm going to click on this stopwatch and I'm going to move back a couple of frames where the kunai needs to start appearing on the screen, which is at this point. I'm going to move it behind the camera by changing the Z position by a lot. Okay, so now it looks like the kunai is appearing from behind the camera and stops in front of it. But we also need to add some rotation and this needs to be the final orientation of the kunai. So I'm going to set the X, Y, Z axis rotation keyframe at this point of time. I'm going to move back a couple of frames. I'm going to change the rotation in Y axis. I'm going to change the rotation in Z axis by like 180 degrees. Okay, let's preview the animation. Okay, it's way too fast. I'm going to move these keyframes a little further. Okay, so this looks a little better than before, but I still need to add a little bit of wobble into the kunai. So I'll go back to the first keyframe. I'll change the Y rotation by a little bit, 18 degrees. I think we can go a little more. I'll go 30 degrees. I think that looks a little better. Okay, as seen in the original animation, the kunai does not appear from the center, but it appears from the right side of the frame and then translates to the left side and then translates to the center. I'm going to disable the original animation once again. I'm going to go to the position XY value. I'm going to set the final position at the end point. I'm going to set the keyframe. I'm going to move back to the first keyframe. I'm going to set the X value towards the right side. And let's view the animation once again. Okay, so now it looks like it's entering the frame from the right side, but it still needs to go a little left in the middle. I'm going to go into the center of these two keyframes. I'm going to set the X position towards a little left. Okay, so this is how our final kunai animation looks, which is pretty great. Now comes the time where we enable the group 2 and group 3. I'm going to go into element effect. I'll enable group 2 and I'll enable group 3 as well. I'm going to go into the kunai layer back again. I'm going to drop down to group 2 and I'm going to enable particle replicator. I'll go to group 3. I'll drop down to particle replicator in group 3. Okay, so the coordinates of the other two kunais needs to be same in the Z value, but needs to be different in X and Y value. So I'm going to copy the Z value in the group 1 and Control C. I'll go to group 2 and I'll paste the Z value again. I'll go to group 3. I'll paste the Z value again. Now we see all of the kunais are in the same place, but I'm going to also rotate them by 90 degrees to make them face upward. I'll go to group 3 and rotate it upwards as well. Go to the camera layer, drop down the camera values, go into the transform, select position and keyframe it at the point where the first kunai stops and create a position keyframe. Move a couple frame forwards. I'm going to set the Z value so that the camera moves backward. So this is how our animation looks. So the other two kunais do not appear in the frame until the camera moves backward. So I'm going to go into group 2. I'm going to go ahead and click on position XY. I'm going to set a keyframe when the camera is starting to zoom out. I'm going to create a keyframe at that point and I'm going to set the Y value so that the kunai is out of the screen. And when the camera zooms in and stops, which is right here, I'm going to create the keyframe of Y value so that the kunai is back into the scene. Okay, so now our second kunai appears when the camera moves backward, and the same thing needs to happen with the group 3 kunai 3. So I'm going to go to group 3. Okay, so as you can see in the original animation that the left kunai starts appearing from the bottom as soon as the camera zooms out. But as soon as the left kunai reaches the frame, the middle kunai starts exiting the screen. So does the left kunai, and in the end the right kunai appears and exits the screen. So that is how I'm going to animate my 3 kunais in this animation. So let's move to the point where the left kunai starts appearing on the screen, and at this point of time the middle kunai should start exiting the screen. So I'm going to go into group 1. I'm going to go select position XY, create a keyframe right when I want it to start leaving the screen. Move a couple frames forwards. And I'm going to decrease the Y value so that it leaves the screen. Okay, so that's how our animation looks. Don't worry if it looks too slow. We can always change the distance between the keyframes and increase the speed of our animation. But we'll do that later when we are finalizing our shot. Next thing that we need to do is move the left kunai upwards as soon as this one starts to. So I'm going to move to the point where this one is about to leave the screen. And I'm going to create a keyframe for the left kunai position XY value. Move a couple frames forward. And I'm going to increase the Y value again manually to the point that it leaves the screen. And there you go. We have the basic of your animation ready. All we need to do now is, tweak our animation by changing these keyframes. So in the final project, I changed the focal length of my camera to 70mm. And I think now it looks a little better than before. Okay, so that's it. The next thing that we need to do is create the background. Okay, the next thing that we need to do according to the animation is create this background, which is the black solid with the red spots on it, which are really big and close to each other. But when we move forward, the red spots reduce in size and the distance between them increases. So I'm going to close this layer again. I'm going to create a new solid, any color. I don't think it matters right now. Right click, pre-compose, and call it BG. Move all attributes and click on OK. Now I'm going to turn this layer into a 3D layer by pressing this button so that it interacts with the camera well. I'm going to go to the point where camera zooms out. I'm going to select the BG layer, press P and increase the Z value so that the BG layer is far behind and creates a separation between the layer of kunais and BG layer so that they are further from each other. And then I'm going to press S, increase the scale value so it fits the screen. Now it hides the kunai layer, so I'm going to bring it below the kunai layer so the kunais appear in front of it. Let's go inside the BG layer. Okay, so now what we need to do is create the pattern of red dots and the black solid. And you could do that by creating a new shape layer and creating multiple repeaters, then changing position value, scale value, offset value. But that's just a pain in the ass. But I have a shortcut for it. To do that, click on the red solid, go into effects, click generate and go to cell pattern. Now what you need to do is select the cell pattern and turn it to tubular. Increase the contrast as far as you can and go to disperse and reduce the disperse to 0. Now you see your spots. So the next thing that I'm going to do is increase the scale so that it looks as big as it looked in the original animation. But now the problem is that these are white spots on black solid and we needed red spots on black solid. So to change the color, I'm going to go into effects, click on color correction and select tritone. Now what tritone effect does is it changes the color of your composition to anything on the basis of your luma values. For example, the shadows, which are black, they need to stay black. The midtones and the highlights need to turn red. So I'm going to select highlights and turn it red. Select midtones and turn it red as well. Now you have your black solid with red spots. But the red spots reduce in size as the camera moves backward. So I'm going to go into the main comp again. Background layer is ready. But the size of these red dots decreases as the camera moves backward. So I'm going to go back to the main comp and go to the point where camera starts moving backward, which is this 0.23. I'm going to go to the BG comp and at 0.23 I'm going to set a keyframe at size and contrast. I'm going to go back again to the main comp, go to the point where the camera stops moving, which is 106. I'm going to go back to the BG layer and at 106 I'm going to increase the contrast so that the size of the red dots decreases. Also I'm going to reduce the size of the pattern. Now I'm going to rotate the layer by 45 degrees and increase the scale like so. Let's go back to the main comp and preview our animation. Okay, this looks good. The next thing that we need to do is create some camera blur on our background layer. To do that, select your background layer, go into effects, select blur and sharpen and go to fast box blur. Increase the blur radius to the point where you feel comfortable. Create a keyframe where the camera starts moving. Move to the point where the camera stops and reduce the blur radius to 0. This gives a fake depth perception in your shot. And I think the skeleton of your animation is ready. Now what's left is to add a jet image appearing from the right of the screen to the center of the screen. And to do that, what I did was added this image of jet from the Valorant's banner. And then I added a pattern over it. And we learned how to make this pattern in the beginning of the project by making a cube and adding multiple repeaters to it. The next thing that I did was added this hue and saturation effect over the jet layer and increase the brightness and contrast of it so it matches the mood of the style. And that's it. And at last I keyframed its position to appear from left to right. And this is how it finally looks. I think it looks pretty great. If you want to learn how to make this bouncy wobbly text, I've already made a tutorial on it. It's on my channel. You can go ahead and watch it, or there would be a link above somewhere. You can just click on it. And the final thing was adding glow over the elements. Like I added glow over this jet layer, I added glow on this text, I added some glow on the knives. Let me just enable it. And it makes your animation look even better. The last thing that you need to do is enable motion blur in the comp and enable motion blur here as well for every layer that moves. It makes your movement a little more smoother and a little better. Okay, so all the difficult part of your transition are done. All that's left is to add a linear wipe to proceed to the second scene. And for that, what I did was made this solid, which is made up of 3 solids. And I already told you how to make these patterns. And they just wipe the screen away with a transparent screen where your next video would be. And now you just press Ctrl M, go to the lossless and select RGB plus alpha to export it. After exporting, this will give you a really high quality AVI file that you can use in your videos. But if you want to use this transition in your OBS software, all you need to do is convert the format to WebM, for which there are a lot of softwares available online and you can do it really easily. Yep, that's it guys, that's it for this video. That was a long one. I'd really appreciate if you stayed till the end. Please drop a like down below and drop a comment if there is something else you want me to break down and create a step-by-step video about. So thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.
Tell you the truth. Your talk is cheap, but your words cut deep. Don't you understand that you're bringing me down till I'm stuck on the ground? I need to turn on the noise so I can make the right choice. I need to know, can this be different? Oh, sure.